I see this time and time again. Top 3 mistakes that teachers working with students with visual impairments make all the time. Don't hate me, let's get into it. Hi, I'm Cassie Maloney. I've been an orientation and mobility specialist for 20 years now. I'm also the founder here at the Society of Exceptional Educators, where we provide you 21st century teaching techniques so that way you can skyrocket the academic and daily living skills of your students with visual impairments. So if you've been making these mistakes, if you are new to working with students who have visual impairments, it's okay. I'm gonna hold your hand. I promise we're gonna get through this. I'm not gonna give you the tips and tricks or anything like that. I'm really gonna point out the very well-meaning but not great behaviors that I've seen so often. So it's not you, okay? It's the way that we've been taught to teach just is not conducive to such a low incidence disability, and that's just the way that it is. People who are blind make up a very small population. People with visual impairments in general, still a very small part of the population. And so, of course, you've been taught these things. Of course you have, and that's a-okay. But let's get into the nitty-gritty, the top 3, and then I pinky promise you won't do these again. Well, you're gonna pinky promise, right? Okay. The first being, when your teacher, students with visual impairments, or your O&M or other related service staff come in to work with your student, especially if they have lots of related service minutes and you have other students, especially like a self-contained classroom, a lot of times what I see teachers do is they then take that opportunity to work with another student one-on-one, which is super great. It's a very efficient use of time. But what ends up happening is that if I have a question, that teacher is not available. If they want to see something new that I'm doing, they are no longer available. There's no opportunity to co-teach either. And when this happens from the get-go, from the jump of the beginning of the school year, a lot of times it's just expected that this is the way that it's going to be. Now, if I don't show up because I'm related service and I don't get a sub, then that teacher then takes on the 2 kids, and that's fine. But the big thing that ends up happening is that we don't have time to talk. And their schedule and my schedule, our planning times, they've never been the same. Never, ever. So I can't role release as much because that teacher is not available. So that's number 1. Now, how you're gonna fix that, I don't know. But I think it all goes back to scheduling, right? We keep talking about our schedules and how we're so busy and there's so much to do. And there is, like, don't get me wrong, there absolutely is. But what if you could take a little bit of time and have like a 5-minute overlap, maybe a 10-minute overlap, and see if that small adjustment, you can then watch the teacher or the TVI, the O&M, and what they're doing. A lot of times when I go into a classroom and I pull a student, even if I'm pushing in, okay, it doesn't even have to be pulling out. When I'm pushing in and we're all going to the playground together, I am left to work with that student one-on-one. And then the TAs and the teacher are not paying attention to what I'm doing, so they can't take it on. But if we could all go together, if we could do the activity together, maybe the O&M and that student and the teacher and her student do an activity together once a month, maybe that could help. The second one is not following through with our recommendations. And I think a lot of times that happens when the TVI or the O&M or another related service member does a drive-by, like gives you a calendar, gives you ideas, gives you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. And again, because of that scheduling issue, there's no time to tell you how to do it. One of my teachers one year said that they just walked in their classroom and they had a bunch of materials for their student, but nobody had shared anything with them. So no wonder it's not getting used. No wonder it's not happening, because a lot of times the TVI and the O&M or whatever related service, they drop off the materials. They may say, hey, do this, do that, do this, and then they go on their way. I know I was in a meeting today and I had to share some things with a teacher, but I didn't want to feel like I was their boss. That's a really weird dynamic. And so I wanted to be like, oh, I'll send you more papers for you to review. And then I had to be like, the teacher's not going to review them. Let me just tell them the information that I would tell them. And like, I have to act like I'm their boss for a minute. I have to act like the expert that I am. And you know what? At the very end, a teacher gave me a hug. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. I know that related service members are the ones messing up here. And I know that lack of follow through would happen if you understood the why. If you knew why the teachers were asking you to do these things, and it's not just they're giving you more to do, but they're also taking something off of your plate. It's a two-way street here, okay? I'm not just blaming you. I think it's a matter of how can we get teachers to understand the why behind the what? And that's one thing that I've been working on with my teachers, and that's the big thing that we work on in VI Foundations, which is our program for teachers. That's what we work on, is not just the what do TVIs and O&Ms recommend, but why? Because when you, as the teacher, understand the why, then you can make time for it. Then you understand it. But the big thing that doesn't get followed through with is a calendar system. So if you can just start to implement the calendar system and just start there with calendars. Ask the TVI, how do you want this done? Ask the O&M, how should this get done? Maybe the SLP is involved too. In my team, it's all of us, all four of us, the teacher, the SLP, myself, and the TVI. And we all work together to make sure that this calendar system is pretty solid. Also, because last year when we started it, the other children ate the calendar system. So we all had to kind of figure it out because the kids bombarded us. But the last one, and you probably don't even know that this is happening, and that's normal because most teachers don't, is the expectation that vision is going to stay the same, and the expectation that vision, like looking at letters, is the same as feeling letters. So both of those expectations, I'll call this false expectations. And these false expectations happen, we all end up in trouble. Educationally, like not like actual trouble. When we fall into the trap of false expectations, of expecting our learner to have the same vision day in and day out, we miss crucial opportunities to educate them. And when we have expectations of a print letter and that same print letter being the same academically if they touch it, then those false expectations create concept gaps, because visually seeing letters and the tactile letters or the tactile numbers aren't always the same. You have to look into the learning media assessment to see what that student needs. So those are my top 3. If we could work on any one of those, man, you would be so much of a better teacher. And it doesn't take any extra time, any extra resources typically. You just need to understand a little bit more of the science behind why the teacher is expecting or asking certain things of you. If you like this information, like the video, subscribe, all that jazz that we have to ask you to do. But the bigger ask and the bigger invitation here is to join us for free in the Society of Exceptional Educators, because what we are doing there is exceptional. It's so impressive. These teachers are helping their students increase their skills on a daily basis, and they're getting to connect with one another. We have lots of free options for you to continue to learn and grow. We also have VI Foundations and other ways that you can become a better teacher. If you want to stay here, this is the end of the road with us. If you want to continue on with us, I invite you to come on into the society. The link is down below.